apparently he bites her and tastes her blood and realizes, okay, no.
The more you know. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Reading Queens. We are here with two more queens to discuss more books, because that's what we do. I'm Valia. Hello.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Stacey. Hi.
Yeah, and they're back to tell you all about their summer. Well, not all about their summer, because that would take forever, but we're going to talk about their summer, what they've been up to, and we're talking about some books. So, Kay, what have you been up to with your life since the last time we've been on a podcast?
Well, we went on this vacation with my family. This is super random, okay, you guys? This is the most random thing you're ever going to hear for the whole rest of your life.
Okay.
So, okay. We stayed at this Airbnb, and they had this, like, letter on the door. It was, like, B, like, you know, it was, like, an apartment or something. Anyway, so while we were there, my baby, who's 5, but I still call him my baby, he wanted to touch the bee. He, like, made us pick him up so that he could touch it, and that was it. Once he touched it, he was like, okay, yeah, I'm good now. It was so funny. So anyway, that was the most exciting thing that happened to me over the summer. My husband and I are always joking about it. We're like, remember when he wanted to touch the bee? And it was like, that was the only thing he wanted to do. He just wanted to touch it, and then he was done. So yeah, it was a very exciting summer for me, as you can tell.
That's adorable, though. Did he always have to touch it, or just that one time?
He did touch it more than once. It was all like within the same 20-minute period,
okay.
you know, but he had me lift him up so he could, you know, put his hands on it. And then later my husband came in, he was like asking him to let him, you know, and then all of us were like, okay, well, we better all touch it. It was the whole thing.
I love it. I mean, hey, you know, maybe it was special. Maybe it was a relic from another world. You don't know.
Maybe. Brought us good luck.
Yeah, there you go.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable. I also love how you always say, he's 5, but he's my baby. I'm still calling him my baby.
Well,
my mom still calls me her baby, okay? And I'm like in my 30s.
Yeah. I do. I actually also call my other children. We just got their like individual pictures back for our family pictures, and every single one of them we saw them, and I'm like, oh, my baby. The other ones are far older. Not far older, but older, you know? So.
Aw, it's cute. Stacey, did you touch any relics?
I had a book release.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
technically September, but like the build up
Still,
to it.
yeah.
So that was exciting. I did also go on a cruise.
Ooh,
just
nice.
like with my husband's extended family. So there was like 20 of us. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But it was fun. So that was my summer. I also worked a lot. So I had I feel like other than the cruise, I didn't do anything but work, book, sleep.
At least you slept. That's important.
Occasionally.
And at least you got to have a little break on the
Yeah.
cruise.
How long was the cruise?
The cruise was only 4 days. Then we were in Florida for an extra 3. So we went to Universal too.
Oh, that's fun.
So the question is, did you ever touch the number on your door or letter? Just kidding. On the door to your room in the cruise.
I don't think so. Why?
Stacey's like, no.
Then you did not have as exciting of a vacation
I
as
see.
me, because we all touched
Gotcha.
the beach.
Yeah, I did
Oh
not.
my goodness. The next building activity that we have. That's adorable.
Next
That's
time.
cool.
Next time. I'll make
Next time.
sure to touch it.
Okay, good.
That's funny. I've never been on a cruise, actually. For the longest time, I was like Googling all the cruises because I just wanted to go on one. This was before pandemic, and I just never did. I don't know why. It just never worked out. And now I just don't want to because, you know, I don't know. It's just that many people on the same place for periods of time. It's not my jam. So
It sounds like really fun, and then other parts of it are kind of like, but
Yeah.
I don't know, though, you know?
exactly.
I've never been on a cruise either.
Okay. So it's not just me.
Someday, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would be fine, actually, but it's just one of those things that I feel like there have been other things that we wanted to do more, so we just never really prioritized that, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. So, the other thing, I mean, nothing's exciting happened with me since last week, so that's my catch up for you guys who are listening every week. But
all right,
yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's great. It's great. No, I mean, sometimes it's good though, right? Like sometimes it's good that nothing major happens during the week. Like you need a break. I need a break. My head needs a break. My heart needs a break. I am good with this.
True.
So yeah, I did read some, so that's nice because I've been having issues with that recently. But we're going to talk about some books. Today's topic of conversation is our recent favorite enemies to lovers read. So we're just gonna dive into it. I want to hear about your book. So Kay's gonna start us off with her book.
All right. Woo. Okay, so first off, I had to go through our other episodes and stuff and try and be like, what books have we not talked about? And that was kind of a little bit of time it took me to where I could find something. But I was able to find a book that I still had on my shelf that I hadn't read yet that I don't think we've talked about yet. Anyway, it's Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. Definitely an enemies to lovers book, so that was great. Sometimes there have been other times when I picked up a book for a certain topic and read it and I was like, well, that didn't fit that topic, so I didn't actually give myself much time, so it was a good thing that it was the right book, fit the topic.
Good job.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really fun. So one thing I really loved about it is it just gets right into the action. If you know anything about, I mean, even if you don't know about story structure per se, but you'll notice that in a lot of movies and books and stories, the first little bit, the character has a goal that is driving them forward that they're trying to work toward, but you kind of get to see them in their normal life a little bit. And that's not the case in this book. You get one chapter that it's like, boom, we're in the story, which I actually loved. I thought was great. So I usually tend to struggle through the first parts of the book because I'm just like, okay, it's cool, but can we just like get to the story now, So that's just kind of a me thing. So it was really fun to just get right into the story. And I mean, it's still followed story structure. Don't worry if you're worried about that. I don't know why you would be, but anyway, but it was just cool. It just got right into it. I'm always hesitant to like say too much because I don't like giving things away, but the main character is a singer. So she is the stolen songbird, and she's stolen. So there you go. That happens chapter 2, guys. So it's not really a spoiler. Anyway, although I actually did not know that that's what happened. I like going into books completely blind, so I never read the book description ever. I'm just like, oh, it's enemies to lovers. Great, I'll read it. So anyway, so she is taken to a troll village that is under a mountain, and she has to bond with the prince there. Again, this happens really early on. I'm like, I hate giving stuff away, but anyway,
here's everything.
So she bonds with the prince. Yeah, they're married, and the ending is no, I'm just kidding. I won't tell you the ending, but anyway, so she bonds with this prince, and so they're like married, but he hates humans and she hates him because she was stolen. Not by him, she's stolen by someone else, but still, I mean, it's like he doesn't let her go, So anyway, so one thing that I thought was really masterfully done in this book is, a lot of times in enemies to lovers especially, you'll kind of have like dialogue where the main character interprets it one way, but you can tell that the person giving or saying it could have meant it a different way. You know what I mean? And usually if you have that kind of thing, it's kind of like talked about later on, and it isn't actually. It's never brought up that, in those specific conversations, he actually didn't mean what she interpreted. But I felt like it was still pretty obvious enough from the reader perspective to kind of realize that, like, you're assuming this, but, that's not really what he meant, you know. Also, you do get some of the prince's perspective. It is mostly from the main character Cecile, from her perspective, but you do get some from the prince, which was really cool. I really liked the politics in this story. It was very cool to see how this girl who had never had to worry about politics before, you know, she was worried about her singing career, and that had been her life up until that point. And she's kind of thrust into this world where she had never cared about that kind of thing before, but then all of a sudden she kind of like, out of necessity for her own life and to escape and that kind of thing, she wants to figure out what's going on so she can figure out how to get out of her situation. Anyway, if you're worried about, you know, Stockholm syndrome, I would say that this is not an example of that. I think it's very well done, the way that the imprisonment is handled, I guess. I mean, she's married to the prince, so she's treated well. But I mean, aside from that, like the fact that she has been captured, I think that is handled well. If that's something that you're worried about, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Let's see.
I'm just fine with Stockholm syndrome, but you know,
Stacey.
Yeah, and there you go. If you're fine with it, it's fine.
Suspend my disbelief. It's cool. We're done with it.
Yeah. So it was pretty good. I liked it. There's this glass garden and I want to go to it. Like all the
cool.
flowers and stuff are made of glass, and it's not really that important a part of the book actually, but I really liked it. So I'm like, I don't know what else to say. That's something I liked. The ending was good. It is a series, so I believe it's the first of a trilogy, so it does not have like a conclusion. Part of it there is a conclusion, but you know, it's a cliffhanger ending too.
Okay. I love how as readers we pick out these like random things from books, like the glass garden. Like it's not an important part of the story, but we're just like, ooh, but it has this.
That too. It sounds interesting. You say glass garden, and I'm like, oh, I want to read about that.
Yeah, like, just for that. Everything else,
Very good imagery. Like I want to see that.
Yeah.
There's like 2 whole chapters with it. No, I think it's mentioned more than twice, but I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah, I like that a lot. But that sounds cool. I was telling Kay when we were talking about it before, I was like, I think somebody gifted me this book. And I'm like, nope, they didn't. But now I kind of want to read it anyway. So there's that. Okay. Stacey, you want to talk about your book?
Okay. I had like multiple books I feel like I could have picked. But not all of them were like perfect for enemies to lovers.
Okay.
But like kind of. So I actually remembered as we were talking, I read another book, which we probably have talked about before, but I just remembered I read this on the cruise. I read These Olive Owls. And that would probably work too. But I'm going to talk about a different one.
Nice.
I'm going to talk about City of Thorns by C.N. Crawford. And the last book in the series just came out, like right after I finished the first one. The next one came out, or the last book in the series came out. So it's now complete, which is good. So it is about a girl who she's like trying to push her way through college, and she really, really wants to get into the City of Thorns, which is a city run by, I don't remember what they call them, but I think that they were like demons, but they're like magical fae creatures, and they're powerful and a little bit scary, but I'm pretty sure they're called demons though. But she wants to go into the city because that's where like you can get rich and you can like have a good life. Right now she's really, really struggling. Okay. And she's trying to get in, and she has this random stalker that actually has nothing to do with the book, but
wait.
it kind of does. I guess it does twist back. But anyway, she meets one of these like demon guys, and he's like super powerful, and he apparently recognizes her, even though she has no idea who he is. And at first he tries to kill her, and he like captures her, and apparently she is like the doppelganger of his like mortal enemy. So she looks just like.
So he doesn't actually know her. He just thinks. Oh,
but it takes him a while to believe. So he's like, no, you are her, and you're just lying, and you're trying to get under my skin, and blah 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 blah. Eventually, he believes her. Apparently, he bites her and tastes her blood, and realizes, okay, no, you're actually human. Right? Sorry.
Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
So, I mean, it saved her life. So.
Oh my gosh, the most Stacey book ever.
Right. So then he takes her into the city. They make a deal that because she looks just like this other woman, the demon woman, she will pretend to
But
be
she's
her.
human. The main character is human, though.
Correct. But she will pretend to be this woman. And so there's a little bit like where she has to go through a trial at one point where she's like, I don't have magic. How am I going to survive this? And so that's part of the thing. And they kind of fake date for a little bit because she's trying to get close to the king, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm gonna get like too far into the whole like plot and stuff, but that is the idea. Is they're trying to work together, one, to save her life, and to try to get her into the city and stuff like that, because like I said, that's the goal for her. And he has his own motives. He's not particularly a good guy.
Okay.
Well, if he has to bite somebody and taste their blood to stop fighting them, I mean.
Okay. So how are they enemies to lovers? Is it just because he thought that she was that other chick?
Yeah, so like they are it's like I said, it's kind of enemies to lovers.
Okay.
It's not hang on, my dog is like freaking out.
Well then, the end. No.
It is interesting, the different nuances of enemies to lovers, though, because sometimes it is just that they're like fighting, like arguing with each other, but then other times it's that their goals do not align, they're opposites, and that's how they're enemies. So I mean, there are different nuances within enemies to lovers.
Yeah, so like they're kind of they don't trust each other throughout the whole thing. So they're working together, they've made a deal, but they're constantly like thinking about ways to undermine the other person or to like to twist it around. And as the series goes on, they are complete enemies at one point or another, but it's kind of this back and forth. So I think it is enemies to lovers. It's just kind of hard to explain how, because it's...
No, it makes sense. Yeah. It's just because you brought the other person.
And if they're only, just because they're working together doesn't mean that they're like allies, right?
Yeah.
They're just using each other to get their own goals. So I could see how
that's how my enemies to lovers in my book is. So it's fine. That's cool. How many? Is it a trilogy or is there more than that for the series?
4.
Okay. I do actually have that book on my Kindle for sure because I think it's in Prime Reading. And I was like, ooh, I've been wanting to read this. And so I grabbed it recently. I just haven't read it yet. My bad. Me and reading, you know.
Well, maybe it's only 3.
Okay. Well, that's cool. It's nice that it's over, or the series is done, so that people can just binge it, which is always great.
The Stolen Songbird series is also, that's not what the series name is. I don't know what the series name is, but Stolen
Never know
Songbird.
The series name ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the series is complete for that one. It's kind of an older-ish book. Not too old, but, you know.
Okay.
Older-ish, you know.
Yeah.
Very technical term here.
We're so good. It's fine. Well, that's cool. I'm more interested in reading it now. It's funny though, because I don't specifically not look at the summary for books, but sometimes I don't. And I didn't look at the City of Thorns summary at all. So I had like no idea what it is. I just know that people have been liking it. So I'm like, oh, I'll grab it since that's in Prime Reading kind of thing. So that's cool. Now that I know more. The more you know. Okay, so the book that I'm going to talk about is, I've mentioned it on podcast before because I was reading it and it had like all my staples. And so it is Together We Burn by Isabel Ibanez, I think is how you say her last name. But this is a standalone fantasy romance, which yay for standalone books. So you can also just binge this one because it's just one book. But it follows the flamenco dancer of a famous dragonador in España. And it's basically set in a world where dragons are, they're kind of like part of their world. So they are not friendlies, so they attack the cities and stuff like that. But also there's those people who will hunt them and bring them into the arena, and kind of like a gladiator days where they would like fight, bulls and stuff like that. They fight dragons in a ring, and that's like their thing. And so the book starts off with it being the 500-year anniversary for the show. And so she has to dance, and then basically her dad gets super injured because a dragon goes nuts and all this stuff happens. So it also does start off really fast, which I loved, because I also really like to just get right into the action of the book. So it does open up with action. And so then this girl, Zarela, I don't know how to say her first name. She is now responsible for basically their livelihood, right? So her dad is really sick. He can't fight in the arena. And so now she has to take care of it. And so she hires this dragon hunter to help her. And he actually does not want to hunt dragons. He wants to save them. So she has this mindset in her, she just thinks like, follow tradition. This is what we do. Dragons are horrible monsters, blah, blah, blah. And he's very much like, no, actually, I don't want to kill them. I don't want to do this. So they're very much on the opposite side of the what to do with the dragons kind of. And it's a very core argument with them. And he does not want to help her at all. When she tries to hire him, he literally like leaves her out in the cold for a full night because he's like, I'm not helping you, get out of my property. And she does not leave. So there's a lot of tension, which I really enjoyed. The writing is really nice. I listened to the audiobook of this, which I highly recommend because all the Spanish words were pronounced correctly with the accent, and you got to kind of really be immersed in the story that way. The narrator did a really good job just overall with the story, but also just bringing that Spanish feel to it, which I really, really liked. And I love dragons, anything dragons. So this was like really fun because, there's just a little bit fun with like the lore when it comes to dragons and everything like that. And the main characters were interesting and like watching their relationship develop and how they kind of both have to learn to respect the other person's beliefs and standings, but also like be open to realizing, okay, like not everything is so black and white, kind of thing. And so it was really, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the fact that it was a standalone though. Like it was just kind of, it really immerses you in the story, and then you get beginning, middle, and end, and you're good to go. So yeah, I highly recommend the audiobook of this. Yeah. And the cover's really pretty too. So, I don't know.
It is really pretty. Excuse me. Wow. Had to cough. Also, excuse that interruption. That was very exciting. Okay, so I just looked up how to say her name, by the way. So it is Isabel Ibanez, but yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
If in case anybody really needed to know that, now we all know.
Can you say the other people's names too? Like, the other people, the main characters. I think it's Zarela. But the way
how do you do you know how to spell it? I was gonna say Zarela.
It's Zarela.
Yeah, I would say Zarela.
Yeah, so the way the girl said
I don't know, guys. I am not like a huge Spanish speaker here, okay? Like I did take some Spanish in high school.
Yeah, she's
all right. Also, Spanish is a very phonetic language, so once you know how to pronounce things, it's pretty easy to read it. You know what I mean? You don't have to know it that well, but yeah, let's not pretend like I'm an expert though, okay? Just my limited knowledge, that's how
you'd think I'd be able to say it because I listened to the audiobook, right? But because she said it with such an accent, like I can't look at it and say it correctly. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't think I'm butchering this. It's fine. I can't tell you that it's Arturo. That's the name of the dude. So there you go.
Nice.
I got that much.
It's very good.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I need more dragon books where it's not like, I don't know, not shifter dragons, but like dragons that are part of the world. Like I kind of like that a lot. And I haven't read very many books where that's the case. Like it's usually dragons are shifters,
I'm not
or the
into
main
dragon
characters
shifters for whatever reason. I think just because I'm like, but dragons, like I want dragons.
Yes.
Dragons, like.
So do the dragons talk? Because I feel like even if they're not shifters, sometimes the dragons can talk.
These do not talk,
okay.
But
that's how the dragons are in my series too, my Fae series.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
They do not talk. They're just dragons. Sorry, if you like that.
I do like that.
I'm okay either way, I think. But I like when they have like a relationship with the dragon, though.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
And there is
not a shifter,
not a dragon
and they come
book
back and
otherwise.
it's like, we're friendly with them. Like,
Yes, there is a very interesting way that comes around, because, you know, Arturo tries to teach her that they're not monsters. I mean, they are monsters, but there's more to them than meets the eye, kind of thing. And there is a very interesting way that comes around that I kind of really enjoyed. So if you guys read it, I want to know.
So read the book.
What you think about it.
Find out the mystery.
Because I feel like I can't spoil that. Like that was a cool thing, so I'm not gonna spoil it. But yeah, so that was our books. If you guys have read any fun, interesting, exciting, whatever else, enemies to lovers books, give us your recommendations, because, you know, we love the trope. We've done it multiple times on the podcast because it's fun, and like we were Stacey said that, you know, there's like different qualifications, or Kay said, I don't know, all of us said there's different ways to interpret
ways to
it. Yeah. So, you know, there's always like so many possibilities for it. So yeah, leave us your recommendations for more books, enemies to lovers. Let's talk about what we're reading next. I'm still doing a buddy read. I've mentioned this on the podcast. We are getting through this book. We are determined. I know, it sounds so bad. Anyway, moving on. After that,
Wait, you're not going to tell us the book, though, after all of that?
No.
It must be pretty rough, guys.
No, it's the Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Tess and I are reading it. So we've been buddy reading it for the last like 3 weeks, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. I don't know. It's been I've mentioned a few times in the podcast. So we're like halfway through.
I like the cover for that one.
Have you seen the cover for the second one?
I have not read the book description. No, I don't think I have. The second
book the cover looks better than the first one. So yeah, that was fun. I am going to be reading, what is the name of this book? How to Survive Your Murder, I think. Abby was on the podcast last week, and she repeatedly told me to read this book for like a week straight before the podcast and then after the podcast. So I ordered it and I got it, and I'm going to read it next because she knows what I like when it comes to books, and I trust her with that. So that's what's happening. It's supposed to be super slashery and perfect for October, so I'm very excited about it. Yes. Kay, what are you reading next?
Well, that just depends on where my whim takes me. It's up to 2 books, or down to 2 books, I guess. Either This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. I actually started that one earlier this year, and it wasn't the book. I just needed a break for a little bit from not just reading, from everything, kind of.
Makes sense.
I just never got back into it again. Anyway, so This Woven Kingdom or The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim.
Oh, okay.
I do feel like I have to read This Woven Kingdom because the second book in that series is pink, and I'm I don't care what the book is about, I'm buying it. So that's happening. But I also have already read the first book of The Dragon's Promise. The first book is Six Crimson Cranes, and I loved that one so much. So they're both books I have to read. So we'll see which one I choose.
I started reading This Woven Kingdom. I had to look it up because I got it on Audible, and I was like, I know I downloaded it, but I'm not sure if I read it. And then I'm I don't know, a few chapters into it.
So I also have it, and I haven't read it. We're so great, you guys.
Books everyone has but hasn't read.
That's funny. So Kay, quick question about pink books. Does that mean that you bought that Chloe's new book? What is it? The something lady? The one that
is it contemporary? Because if it is, no.
No, it's the one. It's the same author that did These Violet Delights. She had a new book come out, and it's all pink.
Oh, Chloe Gong?
Yeah.
Oh, right. The something lady. Hold on, I'll look it up.
Lady Fortune?
Fowl. I feel like that maybe.
Lady something Fortune, maybe? Lady for.
Fowl Lady
there you
Fortune.
go.
You got it.
Figured it out.
No, I don't know why I haven't gotten that. It is pinkish. It's not as pink as the second book.
Okay, yes.
This Woven
but
Kingdom.
It is pretty much all pink.
But I don't know. I don't get the vibes from that cover that it'd be a book I like. But maybe I would. I have read These Violent Delights, a book by Chloe Gong, and I did love her writing. Okay, like I am not judging it based on the fact that I wouldn't like it because of her writing. I'm judging it based on the fact that the vibes I get from that book cover are not the right vibes for me. Okay. So, it's very specific here.
Okay. Good to know. Stacey, what are you reading next?
I've got like 6 books on my immediate TBR. So
Perfect.
So I'm partway through and I almost changed my book to this one, but I didn't finish enough of it. I can't think of words today. House of Lies and Sorrow by Emily Blackwater.
Okay.
Blackwater.
Yeah.
And like I found her on TikTok. She had like a big viral TikTok or whatever. And it's actually, the book is really similar to in basic concept to Tessa's book, To Carve a Fae Heart. It's basically forced marriage to the Fae, and the Fae, like prince or king or whatever that she's forced to marry, is like known for killing their brides. So it's like, he's probably going to kill me kind of situation. And I'm 49% according to Kindle of the way through. So I was going to try to finish it because I had yesterday and today and I didn't get to finish it. So I got to finish that. And I started reading, but I only got a couple chapters into We Hunt the Flame.
Okay.
And I want to read that. And I have the 3rd book to the Kingdom of the Wicked series. So Kingdom of the Feared is for sure next on my somewhere in there. So
I pre-ordered the Barnes & Noble special edition box set for that.
Yeah.
Without even reading the first book, because Tess was like, you're gonna love this book, and I'm like, I'm gonna trust you. And then they had the box set, and so now I'm just like waiting for that to arrive so I can even read the first book.
Any of them at all yet.
Yeah, but the covers were pretty.
The covers for those books are awesome.
Yeah, so
they're so cool.
At least
like
they'll be
super
pretty.
up my alley. Once you read it, you're like, oh yeah, this is a Stacey book for sure.
Well, from what I've heard, it is definitely up your alley. So I'm excited for it to eventually arrive so I can at least read book 1. But anyway, I'm not bitter about that, okay, you guys? I was kind of hoping that it would come out like sooner after the 3rd book came out because it was on pre-order, but it was just my brain not registering the timeline correctly. It's fine. So yeah, that is it.
But it's not fine.
It's fine. That is it for us. Please make sure to give us a star rating or review before you go, and also follow us on your favorite podcast platform. One of these days I will do the outro without messing up, I promise, but that's not today. And also follow us on Instagram at Reading Queens Pod. We're active on there. We also have a Facebook now. Come hang out with us, tell us all about the books that you're reading. We want to know, we want to hear, we want all the recommendations, and be back here next Wednesday for more exciting, chaotic energy podcasts talking about books, because that's what we do. And that is all. Okay, bye.
Bye.